Hello everyone, how are you doing? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hello, thank you for stopping by. My name is Toke, but you can always call me Toke for short. And here we talk about growth, self-development, building yourself, being the best version of yourself. And guys, this is the part 2. Yes, I said I was going to drop a part 2 of the video I dropped a couple of days ago about the struggles of students here in Malta. The feedback has been overwhelming. The messages, the feedback I get in my DMs on other social media platforms telling me about, of people here in Malta telling me about their experiences so far. I even got messages like, Toke, you didn't talk about this one. And I was like, don't worry, I'm going to talk about everything in the second part. I shoot some of these videos to just, prepare your mind, things to look out for, and to also give you like a better perspective on like the student life here in Malta. If you're just coming to Malta, wherever you're coming from around the world, just to help you understand like how life can be on the island. Welcome back to my channel. Stay tuned. Okay guys, so one thing to note before I go into the video, understand that this may not apply to everyone. I mean, everyone has different experiences when they come to Malta. Some people come here and they don't have to experience all this that I talk about, but it doesn't mean or it doesn't change the fact that people actually go through this stuff. And I'm really glad that I get to use this platform to speak out on, so many topics that people don't get to share with anyone, just to prepare your mind in case you encounter any of these things, but it doesn't necessarily apply to everyone. The first one in this part is those people who work even more than the expected number of hours and, still get cheated. I know, I understand. Let me explain what I mean. Working hours for students, the expected working hours for students is usually 20 hours in a week. But there are certain people who still go as far as working for more than 20 hours. Some even work 30, 35 hours in a week when you should be focused on, study and all. And they still end up getting cheated by the employer, which still brings me to like what I'm talking about, the cheap labor. The pay is already low and you don't get paid. I mean, they get cheated by the employer and they don't even know who to report to. Who do you want to report to when what you're doing already is illegal? These are some of the things that people do low-key, and if you get caught, you can be penalized for it. You're gonna be penalized for it. It's not even a matter of probability. If you get caught, you'll be penalized. So you know that you're not supposed to work for a certain number of hours, and then when you do, and then you're asking for pay from your employer and it does not pay you, there's nobody to report to. So why do it? People do in Malta that they don't get to like speak up about, and I feel like, why are you even in that scenario? Like, why should you put yourself in that scenario in the first place? What is wrong is wrong. The employer knows that you don't know who to report to. Even when you know, you cannot go ahead to report because what you're doing is you're both illegal. Like, what you're doing is illegal. You should not be caught. You understand? So working without being registered on the job plus and working extra hours outside of the agreed time you're supposed to work and you don't get paid, there's nobody to report to, so you get cheated. There's already cheap labor, like you don't get paid as much as more than maybe 5 or 6 euros per hour, and then after working for all those long hours, you still get cheated. So these are the things that people face in Malta. Instead of doing that, why not just avoid it? Do your whatever you have to do and just get out. Do the said number of hours, the agreed number of hours, and just go. I mean, it may not be easy at first when you come here trying to settle down and you feel like maybe the pay is low and you're tempted to like just, do more than the right number of hours you're expected to work. And what's the essence when after doing all this, you may not get paid your full money and then you don't get to report to anyone? It doesn't make sense. It's better to avoid it. Don't put yourself in such scenarios. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, some people do it and get away with it and they get paid, but it is better to avoid such cases. So guys, another one is the fact that, you want to rent an apartment in Malta as a student. Some landlords are picky when it comes to like nationality and renting out their apartment to, students and all that. And they even go as far as asking you really personal questions like, where do you work, this, that, and the other, just to have an idea of like if you can keep up with the payment. Like, I get it, but they can be very picky when it comes to nationality. And for me, not all landlords, I mean, there are good ones, I know of people who are in like their apartment and they keep renewing and they've not moved out for years now, and there are also people who keeps moving. I'm an example of this, and I know what I'm saying. Once they hear that you're a student, it's usually frowned upon. Like, can you keep up with the payments? You know, there's this. I don't want this nationality. Which country are you from? Oh, you're from there. No, 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 no. I can't rent my house to you. And I'm like, what's this stereotype about? So students actually face this struggle, and this can really cause like setback when it comes to like you moving out of somewhere. You want to move to a new place. Getting an apartment can be very stressful. I've shot a video about it on this channel. If you check my channel, you're going to see a video I spoke about like renting an accommodation in Malta. It can be stressful, but students specifically, there's usually this idea that, you know, students, once you're a student, they want to know like how much you earn and, you know, all those things. And I feel like it's too personal. It's not necessary. Like, if I can afford the house, like, why do you have to ask me all those questions? Where I work, you want to know everything. And for me, I'm someone who respects people's privacy, and I feel like because I want to rent an apartment, you don't have to know so much about me. But then it's just the normal stuff here, and it's just some things that you may encounter, so it's totally normal. Concerning this rent issue, I also want to speak about the fact that rent is constantly increasing, and you know, sometimes when you check like the prices of rent from maybe your own country, wherever you're coming from around the world, it may not be the same price like when you check it online and when you get here, because there is constant increase. Also, when you rent an apartment, I'm talking from experience now as a student, when you rent an apartment, it's maybe a year and you want to renew your rent or lease or whatever it is, there's usually increase, and sometimes you don't have a choice. You have to like pay, or either pay or move out. And for me, I think having to move out to start looking for another apartment because there's increase on your rent can be a bit stressful. And I've said it also on this channel that when it comes to rent, certain time of the year, like there are times in the year that when you're coming into Malta, like summer period, rent is always usually on the high side, and you know, during winter it's usually on the lower side. I think this is because during the summertime there are more people coming into Malta, tourists, whether you're a tourist or not, more people are usually coming into Malta, so rent is usually on the higher side. I feel like the best time to come into Malta is like during winter, when you know that okay, the rent is not as high as, you know, the summertime and all, but then they still increase it with time. Yeah, you know, there's no way we'll talk about rent and also not talk about like the living condition and everything. Guys, the fact that you have to live with strangers and have to compromise on your privacy, for me, it's actually a big deal. Like having to stay with someone you've never met before, you've never spoken to before, in the same house, because for me, privacy is a big thing. This is another aspect that people don't know how to like express themselves, and people complain about having to compromise on like your security, because for me, it's a big deal. Just rent an apartment together, even if it's separate rooms, because I mean, I stay with, you know, someone I had never met before. For me, the experience so far has been a bit, you know, ups and downs and all, and for me, it's always as if I could have, you know, the whole apartment to myself, and you know, I can place calls freely, I can do this freely, do that freely, do whatever I want, bring people home, and you know, it's just some of the things that you have to live with. Some people even go as far as living in the same room with someone they've never met before, and they have no choice. That's the living condition that some people have to put up with, and this is something that you may encounter, and some people choose not to like live that way. I mean, if you don't want that, you get to like rent your own apartment. If you can afford it, you rent the whole apartment to yourself. But then at the end of the day, you're a student, you're expected to like cut costs and, you know, spend money on other things, just go to school, go to work, study and all that. So it's a really big deal having to compromise on like, oh my god, I'm having friends over. Even when I want to shoot, even me personally, I want to shoot videos, you know, there's always this, oh, is there going to be people around? For me, I just go to my fiance's place anyway to shoot videos and all that. But then these are some of the things that I'm talking about. If you want to like do stuff, there's really no freedom around the house. Like, do things the way you want, and you know, just be free in your own house, because you know that you're not the only one in the house. You know, you're sharing the apartment with someone. So moving on, I'm going to be talking about, you know, the constant increase in like the cost of living, and how food prices and everything is constantly increasing in Malta. And the best advice I can give you is to always cut your coat according to your clothes, not your size. And I feel like it can vary amongst everyone. Like the average, cost of living for a student monthly in Malta is around 780 euros to like 800 euros. Some people don't even get to spend up to that based on like, where they're living, how much you spend monthly. I mean, if you're the only one, if you know how to manage yourself. And some people spend well over that amount. So it depends, it varies. But I know that as of now that I'm shooting this video, that is the cost of living like monthly for an average student in Malta. So it's left to you. So you have to pay rent. Some people pay rent for as much as like 450 euros, 500 euros monthly, and you still have to think about feeding and all of those things. More reason why I always stress, like I cannot stress this enough, you have to plan well. You need to know what you're doing for yourself. I would always advise you to plan well, gather information, always take hold of opportunities wherever, like don't limit yourself to like where you are or what you know. Always make sure you know what's happening around you, because when you don't have like enough knowledge, a lot of things will eat into you. If you're ignorant of something, you may miss out on opportunities. And no matter how small matters may seem like to you, there are opportunities that are out there also. So always make sure you're constantly updated and all that. So that's my advice for you. These few points that I've highlighted in this video, I hope you've been able to gain more insight from some of the things I listed in this video. And if you have any experience, if you're already in Malta and you have some experience to share, you can share it with me in the comment section. I'm going to be reading your comments and responding to them. And if you'd like me to address some things, you can let me know in the comment section. And guys, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Guys, we are growing. Thank you so much for subscribing. I'm going to see you in my next video really soon, guys. I'll see you. Bye.